Welcome to IYR Talks. Recently, there's a lot of dissatisfaction among the youth being reflected as part of agitations, whether it is Janthar Manthar agitation or today in Jarkhand, tomorrow it can be some other state, of course, even in Andhra Pradesh also, there is something going on against the DSC and things like that. Why is it like this? Why have suddenly youth and the students taken to the agitational path and think that that can solve their problem? If we take a historical perspective, these type of agitations by the youth and by the students was a major thing in the 70s and 80s. 70s and 80s, if there is a cause, there were the students in the front agitating, closing down the education institution, indulging in violence and things like that. In our own state, Andhra Pradesh, we saw two agitations in 60s. One was anti-Hindi agitation and then the Vizag steel plant agitation. All this was spearheaded by students and the youth only. Subsequently, a major agitation that shook the whole of the country was the one led by Janthar Manthar against emergency. A lot of students and youth took part in it, and some of them have become big leaders at a later date of time. And then, of course, number of other such agitations which took place during this period. One of the reasons in 70s, 80s for this to be a major approach of the youth and the educated students was because there was a big question mark on the future. A lot of educational institutions came, people got educated, but because of the particular socialistic pattern of society model with which we went in the 50s under Jawaharlal Nehru, the impact of it was being felt by 65, 60s and 70s. Not many jobs, inefficiency in the public sector undertakings, lack of opportunities in the private sector. All this led to a question mark on the future of the younger generation. So they were getting educated, not knowing what to do, and became the cannon fodder for most of the agitations in those days. Subsequently, with the economy opening up, liberalization, and then the opportunities of immigration, especially to America, people were able to find educational employment opportunities. So they started concentrating more on their education. So we don't see much of these agitations by students after 90s till about this time. Suddenly, the youth has woken up and is demanding that justice is done to them, and are willing to take up the educational path to get their grievances redressed. So this is the present situation. So again, youth and the educated students are seeing that the future is bleak, employment opportunities are not coming forward, so what to do? So that becomes again a cannon fodder for any type of an agitation. So this may not end with Janthar Manthar or with Jarkhand, but may get repeated over and over in different parts of the country. Another problem which government itself has created is the centralized academic institutions admission system. Do we really need that type of a system where within an hour or two you assess the person and don't give any credit for 2 years of whatever he has studied? Once you have that type of a system, the coaching center starts, and the coaching centers and the nexus and the paper leakages. So whatever the governments may do, these paper leakages may keep on happening here or there because the system can never be foolproof. In fact, these are the issues that the high-powered committee constituted by the government under Nandan Nilekani needs to address and see and ask a fundamental question whether there is a need for a centralized admission test of 1 or 2 hours or half a day, which can replace years of academic work done by the students. So this is at least one of the causes for these type of agitations will go if this committee can come up with concrete suggestions on how to handle admissions to the academic institutions. This is one part of it. Second part is employment opportunities themselves. Now with emigration being closed from all fronts, whether it's Europe or America or Australia and other things, you have to find employment opportunities within the country. And then the role of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence may enhance productivity, may be good for countries with labor shortage like America or the Western Europe. But what about India, which has a lot of labor surplus? Any this type of thing which can be large scale displacing of employment should be viewed with suspicion. I think how far we adopt this artificial intelligence and where do we stop? Where does it result in large scale displacement of employment? So it should not be adopted, or issues on which Niti Aayog and other major think tanks should make a lot of brainstorming and come up with broader guidelines. Without that, if you leave it like that, and if students coming out of the educational institutions start questioning what's my future, the country is going to get into a much, much deeper social problem. And it gets compounded by the fact that in 70s, 60s, most of the institutions were government. So students hardly paid for their education. So education was never a costly thing. Today, 80% of the institutions are private. So students and their families pay through their nose to get educated. Once those skill sets are not relevant and do not lead to employment, the families are going to suffer double problem, because you don't get an employment, you have already incurred a huge debt or expenses in terms of educating the children. So I think these are issues on which governments, both at the central level and the state level, as well as the think tank, should think and evolve proper guidelines so that students will get assured of their future and don't have an incentive to agitate and be part of the mob violence.